Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Kenny Pickett and how he fits in with the Steelers, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
Alright, so I thought I would do this video just because I recently did a video about Matt Corral and the Panthers and, his ability to, fit in there and whether or not he was a good pick there. I'm a Panther fan, and so that was something that I wanted to do. Ended up getting a good amount of, it seemed like people that were interested in that type of topic. So I'm going to go ahead and do it with Kenny Pickett. I talked about in that video where I do feel like, Kenny Pickett going in the first round was a bit of a stretch. I know this year's, draft class wasn't as good. I'm just going to kind of go through, some of these throws. He does to me, so this was against Miami. This was last year. They were 6-1. Pitt was 6-1. Miami 3-4. I wasn't super impressed with their defensive backs overall. I thought they made some not great plays, right? And the thing that stood out to me, in watching this game, and it kind of gives you a feel for like what is Kenny Pickett's skill set, right? What does he do well, and what are some of the areas that he can improve? And to me, I thought that he did a really good job in being able to, extend the play. So that is why I feel like the Steelers ended up taking him, is because, that was something that Ben Roethlisberger did, right? Is he did a really good job of extending the play. I'm just going to keep on kind of going through these clips here. Now, they both did it in very, very different ways, though. Okay, so Ben Roethlisberger had a great ability to, move around the pocket. Yeah, he got outside of the pocket sometimes, was able to extend the plays that way. But really, most of, the time, Ben Roethlisberger just did a crazy job of being able to, like, with guys, on him or around him, was still able to complete the pass, and just was able to sustain what seemed like a good amount of, bodies or damage or whatever. And, that was really a unique thing. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody really, play quarterback the way Ben Roethlisberger did. But you can see that, Kenny Pickett does get a little bit flustered under pressure, right? Like this one, he just threw in the dirt, and I don't know if he thought that maybe the safety was there, something like that. That was definitely a makeable throw, and something he's going to have, he's going to be asked to do at the next level for sure, is be able to throw with a lot of pressure on his face, and that seemed to be the game plan here for Miami. They just said they were going to go after Kenny Pickett, and really what ended up giving him the most trouble, like here's a pass that I mean, there was good coverage on this, but I think he could have also, potentially completed that. And, that's going to end up being something that he's going to be asked to do, is be able to respond to, the blitzes, right? He's going to have to be able to throw it into tight coverage. And I think Miami did a good job of putting a good amount of pressure on him and kind of disguising their looks. And it seemed to give Kenny Pickett a hard time, a lot. So here's the one where he did a good job extending the play. Right, that was a nice throw. He was able to squeeze it in between tight foot coverage, and really, on the inward breaking routes, he does do a good job with inward breaking routes. And he does do a good job throwing on the run. And so you can see there's another one where he extends the play there. And I don't know how well this will end up transferring over to the NFL, but you can see, another blitz, him having to extend the play, right? But he, in terms of being able to really get away from defensive linemen, because there's a lot of times where he, had to get away from defensive linemen here. But, like here's another time, just making it so the play goes on a little bit longer. Now, I didn't, in this particular game, right, I just watched the Miami game, and I didn't see anything, where he really extended the play a long time and then, made something spectacular. Like Patrick Mahomes does a good job of that, where like, he'll extend the play, and sometimes you're like, you start kind of holding your breath for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, he throws like a 60-yard bomb, right? And so, that is not something it seems like Kenny Pickett's going to be able to do. I don't think he has that type of arm strength and the same level of ability, right? But with that being said, again, a good job extending the play, right? Like right when I say that, like, made a guy miss there, linebacker miss, threw it, to his left side. I think that defensive back could have made a better play there, but he made the play. He was able to, do his job. Roll out to the left, score a touchdown, right? So a lot can be said about that. Here's another one, extending the play. And inward breaking routes, extending the play, to me ended up really being his skill set, right? When it goes to, some of these deeper throws, though, I do think he had some plays where, they could have done a better job. Even this guy could have made a better play on the ball, like if he would have actually made a play on the ball here, that would have probably been incomplete instead of just trying to hit the defensive back, right? And instead of trying to hit the receiver. He could have made a better play on the ball and potentially knocked the ball out of the hands. The big sack here. Okay, so they got within, he brought them all the way back. They ended up tying the game back up. They didn't score here. This ended up being a big part of the game. They got to, inside the 5, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, and then weren't able to get anything there. Ended up having to, kick a field goal. And, then just couldn't get anything going after that. Right? Here was a good play. Or I guess they couldn't get any points after that, right? They were able to move the ball, but just couldn't score. So got to the 25. And there was an interception there. And we'll just look at his mechanics just, here. Just see where he is at. So he's at 2-3. 2-2-3. And gets the ball out about 5-3, right? So, good mechanics, get the balls out in 0.3, right? So he's not terrible by any means there. I think he could have done a better job of being able to drive, when he's rotating with that back leg, being able to maintain a better position within his body and then also not open up with that front shoulder as much. That probably could have helped him out here. But, get the ball out of his hands quick. I think he did a good job of being able to, rotate all the way through the throw. It looks like he has a lot of range of motion within those hips. Let me see from this side. They show it from the back too. Hard to be able to see where exactly the wrist position was, but you could see that, he had his receiver open, right? This could have ended up being a big play, but ended up being pretty far behind him there. And again, I wasn't as impressed with his deeper throws, right? I felt like he was behind a lot with his deeper throws. In Pittsburgh, it's going to be cold too. He talks about how he's fine with the ball, and he did play at the University of Pittsburgh and had a lot of success there. But it's different. It's different when it comes to college and the NFL. And against the best teams, he did good. It wasn't like he was amazing, right? Like Trevor Lawrence did really well against top teams. Justin Fields was like that. Justin Herbert, he did really good in big games and did really well against top competition. And, this is an example where do great against great top competition. So to me, I don't think he's going to fit in great. I understand why they made the choice, because I think they're kind of living off of what Big Ben was able to do and liked what he brought to the table in those regards. And obviously later on in his career, he wasn't as mobile and wasn't able to do the same things that he could earlier on in his career. But I don't think Kenny Pickett has the same skill set. As much as he does do a good job of extending the play, I think he's going to struggle with really being able to, be a top draft pick worthy quarterback. He's probably going to be a good starter, but I don't know if he's going to be able to, sustain the success that they've had at Pittsburgh. I think that he's going to be, easily blitzable. I think they're going to be able to, teams are going to be able to put man coverage on the receivers and send a lot of pressure to him, and he's going to have to be able to respond there. So his ability to respond to that will be what ends up being the key difference there. And obviously the ability to run the ball, because he's got Najee Harris, so he's got one of the best running backs. So that will end up being definitely a benefit for him, but we'll see. We'll see how it ends up working out. He has weapons as a receiver. He's going into a good position. He's going into a good situation. Again, I wasn't super impressed by any of this. I thought Malik Willis would be a better option. Bit of a project, somebody that they're going to have to work to be able to get him up to the same speed as the NFL. But I think a lot more upside. A lot more upside. I think Matt Corral has a lot more upside as well. And I think Matt Corral did better in college than Kenny Pickett. So, again, it'll be interesting. I think that Kenny Pickett just checked off a lot of the right boxes, and that's why he was given the opportunity. He's a little bit less of a overall risk, but I also don't think you're going to get as much of a potential reward with him. And I think when they got Ben Roethlisberger, he was a little bit more of a bigger risk overall, and ended up being a bigger reward. Obviously, as he was a quarterback for, 15, 16 years, while here. So with that being said, we'll wrap up the video here. If you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. Check out some of the things we have in the description. We more focus on the ability to develop quarterbacks in terms of their mechanics, work on the biomechanics, your ability to throw the ball further, the ability to get the ball out of your hands quick, really putting a focus on how can we help you develop as a quarterback. And so, really when we go into the developmental process, to me, it matters a lot how much velocity we can put on the ball, how much distance we can put on the ball. And so, that's where we put the big focus in terms of development, is how can we help you understand the mechanics and make it so you can throw the ball further. If you want to learn more about that, we have a lot of different things down below in terms of programs, videos, ebooks, everything that you need to be able to learn more about the quarterback position, help you in developing your mechanics. So again, thanks for watching here. If you're still watching, haven't clicked the thumbs up, haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that now, and we'll talk to you soon.